There's a story of a woman who was at a marketplace that's mentioned, and there was this man, he was walking, it was the adhan of Asr was being called, and as the adhan was called, he sees this woman. And he just sees her from behind, and she's totally covered from head to toe. And when he sees her, he somehow, like she strikes him pretty much as someone who's extremely beautiful. And so he starts staring at her, and then she looks back at him and gives him a slight gesture to follow him. And so his heart is struck pretty much. And he starts chasing her. So he's going, and as soon as he's trying to get close to her, it seems like she's just passing him. And she's going faster and faster and going all throughout the city. They find themselves finally in the graveyard. And then she gives him another signal to come to him, right? And he starts following. Now it's almost Asr times, the time for Asr is gone. And Maghrib is about to begin. And he thinks about what he's about to do because he's about to miss the prayer. But then he just goes ahead anyways. So he eventually goes to this place, this old, area where they keep the bodies under the ground, and like the mausoleum in a way. And he's there with this woman, and she tells him, she's sitting, reclining against a pillow. And she tells him that to shut the door and lock it, right? And he thinks about it, and he says, okay, fine, I'll do that. And then he gets to, all of a sudden, there's a well there, and she tells him to throw the key in the well, right? And so he's thinking, okay, well, this is kind of, how am I going to get out of here? And then she reminds him, she says, didn't you follow me all the way here from the masjid, basically, to all the way to the graveyard? Don't you want to please me? Don't you want to make me happy? So he says, okay, fine, and he just throws the key too in the well, not really thinking of what the consequences will be. So he's sitting there, and then she says, now you can look at me. Okay, now you're going to see me. And so she takes off her niqab, or the veil, and not a pretty young woman that he's expecting, but an old woman who's, very, very uneasy to look at, not very good looking. And he looks at her and he's in shock, and she starts laughing. And she says that my name is Dunya, and I am the thing that you were chasing, right? That you missed your prayers for, that you didn't really care what was going to happen. And now that you caught me, now you look at what I am. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He captures it in a very beautiful verse where He says, وَمَا الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا إِلَّا مَتَاعُ الْغُرُورِ. Right? He says the life of this world is nothing but a deception, a very, very temporary deception or delusion. A very temporary enjoyment. And now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's put the love of this dunya in our hearts. And that's the problem, that it's a test. Like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions, He mentions many different things that we naturally love as human beings. And He says, زُيِّنَ لِلنَّاسِ حُبُّ الشَّهَوَاتِ مِنَ النِّسَاءِ وَالْبَنِينَ وَالْقَنَاطِيرِ الْمُقَنْطَرَةِ مِنَ الذَّهَبِ وَالْفِضَّةِ وَالْخَيْلِ الْمُسَوَّمَةِ وَالْأَنْعَامِ وَالْحَرْثِ. So He mentions all these beautiful things that we get attracted to. He says that I have beautified for man women. Okay? Women are beautified for men. وَالْبَنِينَ, and sons especially, but kids in general. وَالْقَنَاطِيرِ الْمُقَنْطَرَةِ, and sons of gold and silver. Right? And then he says, وَالْخَيْلَ الْمُسَوَّمَةِ, horses that are branded, like Arabian horses, all these really expensive types of things. And then he says, أَنْعَامِ, like cattle, وَالْحَرْث, and farmland, and lots of different things. We love these things. And the person, when he gets something like this, because a lot of people, I don't love horses, I don't love land, but when you have a little bit, you'll see that you want more of it. You want more of it. You want more. You have 2 sons, you want 3 sons. You have 4 kids, you want maybe 5 kids. You have all these different things, you want more of it. Right? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has beautified it in this way. And He's made it a really, really big test. And then He says, ذَلِكَ مَتَاعُ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَاللَّهُ عِنْدَهُ حُسْنُ الْمَآبِ, that this is the temporary life of this world. Right? This is the temporary life of this world. وَاللَّهُ عِنْدَهُ حُسْنُ الْمَآبِ, and the home of the hereafter is the real life. that is the real life that we should be looking forward to and going for. Now there's different pursuits that a person has. There's an interesting article that I was reading. It had 7 pursuits that a person is chasing or going after. And they first mentioned the easiest pursuit is of happiness. It's of it's like, for example, I get happy when I eat sweets. I love sweets, right? So like kunafa or something like that, you put that in front of me, or cookies, cake, whatever, and you get happy. I get happy when I eat it, right? And then if you have different types of sweets, maybe it'll give you more happiness, right? So you get happy for maybe a few minutes. But the problem with this pursuit of happiness is that you're always chasing it. You're always trying to get this, but you're never gonna be happy. And the person who keeps chasing happiness, they'll never be happy in this life. They're always going to, right when that happiness ends, they're going to have depression, which causes them to start, feeling bad again, or feeling negative again. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He mentions actually, أَرَأَيْتَ مَنِ اتَّخَذَ إِلَهَهُ هَوَاهُ. He says, have you seen the person who chases or wants, basically desires his hawa? Whatever his desire is, he goes after it. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, makes it really, really clear for us that, and actually that He makes His God His or makes the desires His God, right? So he is always obedient to His desires. He feels like doing something, He'll do it right away. And so, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us, but this short-lived of happiness is something that a lot of people are chasing. They're always trying to get that short, temporary pleasure and not thinking what type of problems they're going to have because of this. The second thing a lot of people are chasing is the pursuit of social acceptability. They want to be cool. They want to have friends. They want to have people, praising them. They want to have, all eyes on them in a way, right? They want to have, do whatever people want so that they'll be happy. Like we have in our Urdu language, lo kya kahenge, right? What are people going to say? So they're always trying to please the other person. They're always trying to do something to make the other people happy, even if it goes against what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said, right? They're going to make or build a big house to live in, even if it's on riba, or buy many, many different cars, even if it's on interest, because what are people going to say? They're always chasing after these types of things. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He mentioned, or the article mentions, that the pursuit of popularity, that people, not only do they want, to be liked by people or do what they want, but they want all of the attention on them. They want to be the center of attention. And that's why you see musicians, right? And you see these celebrities, you see all these different people, that they are always chasing this, that they have millions and millions of billions of followers, maybe views and everything, and then when they stop singing, they become unpopular. Nobody's really looking at them anymore. They do the most horrendous things to get popular again, to get people to look at them again. And so a few years ago, I think it was Lady Gaga, she put on at one of these concerts or something like this, she put on a suit made out of meat. It was that disgusting, right? And she was wearing this and people were looking at her, all these different things. Why? Because she wanted that popularity. And all these actresses and celebrities and whoever, they dress up for all these different Academy Awards and these types of things. Why? Because they want everyone to look at them. They want to be popular. They want everyone, all the limelight on them. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He mentions this, He captures it in Surah Al-Baqarah, in ayah number 166, how these people will run away from the people who followed them. The people that we look over and we want to copy and do all these things, those people will want nothing to do with us on the Day of Judgment. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, إِذْ تَبَرَّأَ الَّذِينَ تُبِعُوا مِنَ الَّذِينَ اتَّبَعُوا وَرَأَوُا الْعَذَابَ وَتَقَطَّعَتْ بِهِمُ الْأَسْبَابِ. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, when those who have been followed disassociate themselves with those who followed them, and then they will see the punishment, and cut off from them are the ties of relationship. They want nothing to do with those people. We chase after those people in this dunya, right? We want to call them, text them. They never respond to us, but we want their attention. So we keep going after them. But they want nothing to do with us. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us on the Day of Judgment, the people that we were chasing, they want nothing to do with us and distance themselves from us. The other thing people want is prestige. They want to associate themselves with something that is very valuable. So like I mentioned, that they want the nicest or the latest car. That iPhone XS or whatever, the 10 or whatever it is, it's not enough for them. Right when the new one, 11, comes out, they want that one instead now, right? They want the latest gadgets. They want everything, whatever it may be, they will always want the next best thing. They're always trying to get that prestige. They have the latest brand name clothing. When they grow up a little bit, when they have kids and they grow up, they want their kids to go to the best Ivy League schools so that they can show them off too. They want to they want their kids to have the best jobs so they can tell other friends of theirs that my son or daughter do this and this, and this is basically how much money they make. They might even share that with them. They live in such and such a place or this zip code. Do you remember that neighborhood, that place in Grozil, or in that place in Sacramento, or that place in New York, that place, that zip code that everyone wants to have? That's where my son lives or my daughter lives. And so they want to associate themselves with prestigious things. So again, that people will be looking at them. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He mentions this as well. وَلَا تَكُونُوا كَالَّذِينَ خَرَجُوا مِنْ دِيَارِهِمْ بَطَرًا وَرِئَاءَ النَّاسِ. And do not be like those people who came from their houses arrogantly and to be seen by people. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't like this type of attitude. The next thing that people pursue is money. So these people, like some people talk about this, is these people are always constantly trying to get more and more money. They don't care about the house they live in, the car they have, the clothing they're wearing, anything, even their own kids and family, they might be suffering. They don't care about any of those things. As long as their bank account is more and more, then they're happy. And so you see sometimes you might even want to take money out and give it to them as they are beggars or something like this. But they have millions, billions of maybe rupees or dollars in their bank accounts. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions about these people, الَّذِي جَمَعَ مَالًا وَعَدَّدَهُ. They gather wealth and they're always constantly counting it. يَحْسَبُ مَا أَنَّهُ مَالَهُ أَخْلَدَهُ. And they think that their wealth will make them immortal, that they will live forever and ever. And this is of course not the case. The next thing that people chase is the excellence, the pursuit of excellence, the pursuit of doing ihsan, the pursuit of always wanting to be the best. And this could be a good thing, right? So if you want to get really good grades, that's a good thing, right? You want to be really good at your career, that's a good thing. All of these things are good things, and inshallah you'll be rewarded for it if you have the right intention. I want to be the best in my career so that I can be a role model to the people around me, that they see this Muslim, excelling in their career. I want to be the best student in my class because I want people to know that the valedictorian was a Muslim, okay? And they were a practicing Muslim. They have maybe, they have the outside signs of a Muslim, a beard, maybe hijab or so on. They're wearing something and they want to be the best because they're trying to make Islam higher, not themselves higher. And so this is another thing that some people try to pursue. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, actually many places in the Quran, He talks about them as muhsinin. He says, Wallahu yuhibbul muhsinin. That indeed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves those people who are muhsinin. And so may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us of those people. And the last pursuit, and this is the best one, and this is the one I think that all of us need to aim for. And we should make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes us of these people. That the pursuit of impact. These people, there are those who are like Doctors Without Borders, right? You've heard of them before. They're an organization that they go, doctors, they quit their job or leave their job, they take maybe a year, 6 months or whatever off. They go to these war-ridden countries. They go to these places that are extremely, impoverished, and they go and serve the people there for free. No type of benefit for themselves at all, right? In the middle of Africa, in the middle of Pakistan, in villages, in different places, they're doing surgeries, they're doing different, medical treatment for these people, only for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? And there's Engineers Without Borders. There's all these different organizations that exist where people give up or take sabbaticals from their life so that they go and serve. You could say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they might have different intentions, but the point is that a person goes and leaves maybe this dunya for that higher purpose, to leave an impact, to leave a legacy, to leave something that is going to continue inshallah after they've gone. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He mentions, He says, إِنَّمَا نُطْعِمُكُمْ لِوَجْهِ اللَّهِ لَا نُرِيدُ مِنْكُمْ جَزَاءً وَلَا شُكُورًا. That these are the people, the only reason that they feed people, okay, is for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. لِوَجْهِ اللَّهِ لَا نُرِيدُ مِنْكُمْ جَزَاءً وَلَا شُكُورًا. They don't want any type of reward, okay, and they don't want any type of appreciation either, right? They don't want anything. So this doesn't mean that a person has to teach for free or work for free or that's not the meaning of this. The purpose is that their life is all about helping others, leaving an impact rather than just focusing on themselves and what makes them happy or what they need in their life. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq and understanding. Let us be of these people who do ihsan and who do try to leave an impact and do something really, really beautiful in this world, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us of those people who are at the peak of mankind amongst the prophets, the truthful, the martyrs, and the righteous. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. Bismillah walhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. There is this documentary that it's called Loose Change. It's called Billions in Change. And this documentary is about this guy in Michigan, actually. The guy who made the 5-hour energy drink or pill or whatever it is. And he made this and he made billions of dollars off of this. And what he did is he reinvested it into doing different projects for mankind. Okay? He's a Hindu guy, I believe. And so he does this, like for example, he his team of engineers, they developed this thing which it's like a contraption that converts seawater or salt water into fresh water. And so he's setting it up in different places in India and different places. They're trying to test this out so that, because I think 70-80% of the waters in the earth is seawater and it can't be consumed, so that how can we transfer that and use that? He made this bike that you can sit at home, you cycle it for maybe 10-15 minutes, you get some exercise out of it, and it could give like a small, home electricity for the entire day to charge things, to, a fan to run, some basic things, right? And so all these really great things that a person is doing to leave an impact. He could have used it to build more and more things for himself, to buy more toys for himself, but he didn't do that. And so what are some practical things that we can do to become people of impact, inshallah? With Ramadan coming to a close, we have inshallah 1 week left. How fast it went by. We have just a few days, maybe 7-8 days of Ramadan inshallah left. And then we'll be celebrating Eid in our own way during this COVID time. But what are some things that we can do inshallah to make dua for, especially during these 10 nights, these last 10 nights, that we become people of impact, that we leave something really, really great in this world. So number one, be clear and focused on the purpose of your life. What am I doing every single day? Am I just chasing to become happy for a few minutes? Am I just chasing popularity, that I get a few likes or shares or whatever, I become happy because of that? I get some recognition, I get some money, that makes me happy. What am I really, really looking for? And so we should be always trying to chase after those things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is happy with and that He's pleased with, and that will inshallah be something that will leave a legacy at the end. Right? People are remembered for the acts of kindness and how we impacted other human beings. Right? Those are the things that people remember, and that's the thing that we should also focus on, trying to help other people as well. The other thing, we know the famous hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, where he mentioned the 3 things. When a person dies, every single thing comes to an end, except 3 things. So three things that continue. One, that a person has righteous children who make dua for him or her. And so that person, they make dua, they read Quran, whatever they're doing, that person is getting the ajr for it. The second thing that continues is that a person leaves some type of a sadaqah jariyah. So they build a well, they build, or they have some orphans they took care of, they built a shelter for some, whatever it may be. They wrote a book, they left some lectures, whatever it is, they left something that people benefit from after they've passed away, and that reward goes to them as well. And the third thing is beneficial knowledge that's left behind. So again, this could be like a book, it could be a lecture, it could be a blog, it could be something that they left, some knowledge that they left behind that is being used and people are benefiting from, and that person is being rewarded for that, inshallah, if their intention, of course, was correct. Another thing is that we need to try to wake up earlier in the morning and stay up, right? That's one of the things that a lot of people that you talk to, these billionaires or these really, really successful people in this dunya, one of the things that they're doing is 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, they're up. Of course, they're not praying, okay? They're not maybe they're taking a jog and other things, but they're up early in the morning doing things that are important, right? And the first hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, they get the most important things done in the day at that time. And a lot of times, unfortunately, we see as Muslims what we're doing. You see Muslim countries, what are they doing? In Ramadan, they switch the schedule around, right? They stay up and party pretty much all night, and after Fajr, they go to sleep until 2, 3 o'clock, right? Some people until Asr, and they miss the Dhuhr. So, we need to wake up early, read Quran after Fajr, Salat al-Duha, maybe a quick workout, exercise, whatever, then go to work or school and repeat that throughout in the morning, so you get the most important things done first, inshallah. And the last thing, of course, is making dua. None of us we can put in all the effort that we want, right? I mean, at the end of the day, we can do whatever we can and spend 24/7 doing something, maybe even trying to leave an impact. But if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's help is not with us, if His barakah is not there, then it's not going to really matter. Not much is going to get accomplished. And so we should always be connected with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That we make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that He makes us a person of impact, inshallah, and puts barakah in every single effort that we do. Every single effort that we do, it keeps going and flourishing bigger and bigger again. And they're like, for example, Helping Hand, alhamdulillah, I have an opportunity to work with them. From 2005, they had, a very small budget. They started after the Pakistan earthquake. And in 15 years, they have millions of dollars of budget. Almost $40 million in budget, right? And so many hundreds of thousands of people they're benefiting, every year, alhamdulillah. And so imagine the person who began that with that idea in mind, that let's help these people. Imagine the type of ajr they're going to get, right? Imagine the type of reward that, inshallah, if they had the right intention to, what kind of reward they're going to get. Now, the last thing I want to end with, I know this khutbah has been long, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He mentions, وَأَنَّ سَعْيَهُ سَوْفَ يُرَى. So He says that His effort is going to be what is seen. It doesn't mean that you put the effort in, you make dua, maybe nothing will happen. Okay, maybe nothing will happen in your life. And we have many people in the history of Islam, many scholars, who in their life, nothing happened. Like Imam Bukhari, he was very well known amongst those people and so on, but the Sahih of Bukhari was not very widespread. Actually, a lot of people were attacking it during his life. Only after he passed away, and then people researched it more, and then it spread and so on, it became extremely popular, and it's now, of course, the most authentic book after the Quran. So in your life, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to see success in front of you. And that's very, very difficult, because a lot of times we get discouraged. We're putting in all this effort, we're making this dua, and then we're not seeing it in front of us, it discourages us. So, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as He mentions, وَأَنَّ سَعْيَهُ سَوْفَ يُرَى, and His effort is going to be seen. So this dunya, it's all about results. If you do good, you put in a lot of effort, but for example, you didn't bring enough money for your company or your job or whatever, you didn't do enough projects, right? Even if you put a lot of effort in, you're a failure. Why? Because you didn't get the project done. You didn't reach the goal, the milestone, or whatever, the money amount. But remember, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is looking at the effort. If you put the right effort in, then you'll see it in the akhirah, inshaAllah ta'ala. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq and understanding. Inna Allah wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi. Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima. Allahumma